Hey there, vinyl community. So today I thought I'd do a quick video on three soundtracks, maybe four, three soundtracks that just I don't think get the attention that they deserve, and maybe not slid under the radar because they've kind of major releases, but just I think have held up over time. And I tend to be a little bit leery of soundtracks that are like collections of songs, unless those songs are maybe originals, or I don't know. I like it more when there's like a score to a film. In the background right now, I'm listening to the newer version of Susperia that came out. And yeah, there are folks who, Radiohead is one of those bands that people love, or they don't. And there are good things there. I never really got into them ever. And so I was a little surprised when this soundtrack came out, that I really liked it as much as I did. This is Tom York, and he did all the music for it, and I find it to be a really interesting listen. This is the soundtrack. This is the first Susperia, obviously done by Goblin. Classic soundtrack, and again, kind of that, progressive sounding, cinematic soundtrack. Very good, but this, I think that this is really good. And of anything that I've ever heard the man do, this is the album that it's the only Radiohead related record that I happen to own, and I think it's really amazing album. There's some stuff on here that verges on, almost like songs, and but it's all the other stuff that I find so fascinating. This track right here, 14 minutes long, and it has an eeriness, a cinematic approach to it that I really like. And if you haven't heard this soundtrack, or maybe you've gotten it and stuck it in the collection and haven't grabbed it, this is a really special album and a really special soundtrack. Check it out. Really great stuff. The initial pressing of it, I don't know if I need to show that, but came out in pink vinyl, if that means anything to anyone. The next one that I wanted to show was another film. It was a good film if you kind of like rock history, and it was a film that, without mentioning who it was about the relationship between, it's like a fictionalized version of the relationship between Iggy Pop and David Bowie. And it's they actually, I guess, wanted to use some Bowie tracks on this album, and he apparently said no way. And they went ahead and they created songs that sound a lot like Bowie songs, enough that if you're a fan, you'll really enjoy this. And I think they work really well. They also put together some super groups that consisted of people like, members of the Stooges, members of Sonic Youth, who else? Not the Meat Puppets, but there were some other really amazing bands who formed these kind of super groups and performed some of the Stooges classic TVI is on here. And they renamed the bands like Venus and Furs, and so it kind of gives you some inference as to kind of where they were coming from. They do TVI by the Stooges. This is a really fun, is it essential? I'm not sure it's really essential. Is it a lot of fun if you love Bowie and you love Iggy, and you want to see for the film, to see a fictionalized version of what that relationship might have been like, or how Iggy influenced Bowie. Fun little film, and I think a really great little soundtrack that I think is still available, but I don't really know. I remember when I had it on CD. I used to listen to it in the car all the time, and I love the version of a 20th Century Boy that's on here, the T-Rex track. Good kind of glammy, everything is kind of glammy. That whole little magical era in the, you know, early to mid 70s. Yeah, cool record. Check it out if you haven't. And then the other one was, we already talked about Primal Scream. This is the soundtrack to a film called Beyond the Black Rainbow. And I watched the film. It's kind of an interesting take on like a 80s horror, science fiction horror film. Not really a great film. Interesting in its own way. It was fun to watch. Although there's a lot of long passages without any dialogue that maybe test your patience a little bit. But the soundtrack is really good. And if you haven't had a chance to, I imagine this flew under a lot of people's radar. You know what? If somebody wants the, I don't know if that still works or not. Check it out. But if you can get it, steal it. But I think this is a terrific album. And it's full of, like imagine like John Carpenter, but a little more eerie, a little more, you know, out there. And I love John Carpenter's Escape from New York City is one of my favorite soundtracks. But this is a magic little soundtrack that if it got under your radar and you didn't check it out, and you like electronic music, synth-based electronic music, if you like eerie soundtracks from the 80s, this is a good one. And go check it out. I have one more that, you know, this is nothing that I think people haven't heard of before, but there's the current pressing of it that's out is, I've heard Stunt Rock Confusion mention this on his live stream. He's probably played it, but this is a really great early electronic soundtrack that creates, you know, the music just creates another world. And that's exactly what it needed to do, because this film is all about creating another world. Great movie, and a really, really fun listen, eerie, futuristic, even violent at times. Anyway, so there's 4. Just wanted to do a quick video and check them out. Soundtracks. Thanks.